I'ma put it down. Yeah, man, he thought he was gonna jump in my car and pull out. And it's a stick, nigga. Stick.
All right, welcome back. Welcome to the worst show on YouTube. It's a show. I'm your host, Jake. And again, today in the corner, I have my co-host, Luke.
Hey.
And today we're going to be talking about a few things. The big one I want to talk about today is critical race theory in our schools and how parents are fighting back all over this country. And big time in Loudoun County, Virginia, which is where I actually spent my formative years. I was there, I moved there in middle school, and I went all the way through high school there as a Loudoun Valley Viking at Loudoun Valley High School in Purcellville, Virginia. I can never say that town right, so I have to enunciate. It's Purcellville or Purcellville. Everyone calls it Purcellville, but you sound like a effing R word.
Rock and roll, baby.
I really fell in love with Blink-182 in middle school. I was a big rebel. Played Grand Theft Auto in my basement when my mom didn't want me to.
Nice.
I was a bad boy.
You watch South Park?
No.
No? Didn't watch South Park?
It's too much for me.
Okay. Understood.
I couldn't, dude, I was a fragile little young man.
South Park molded me into what I am today.
I actually did used to watch South Park on Comedy Central after dark when I was probably like 6.
Ooh.
And I would watch that, and I would watch home movies, and there was this other show that I can't remember what it was. But, yeah, after dark, I didn't understand anything I was watching. I didn't know why any of it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched it because I believe my uncle watched it, and I thought it was cool. But, yes. All right, so blah, blah, blah. But before we get into all that, I want to talk about the George Floyd statue in Brooklyn that was vandalized, and more importantly, the comments by the mayor made afterwards. So in Brooklyn, NBC, vandalism of the George Floyd statue may be a hate crime, officials say. All right, yeah. So police said spray paint was used to stencil the website of Patriot Front, described by the Southern Poverty Law Center as a white nationalist hate group with roots in the deadly far right gathering in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. I can't see. The statue on Flatbush Avenue was dedicated during Juneteenth celebrations a week ago. A George Floyd statue in Newark, New Jersey was also vandalized, reported Friday. New York police distributed photos from security capture, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, so some people vandalized some George Floyd statues, maybe because George Floyd's not a hero. He's a criminal crack addict or fentanyl, drug addict. Who's being celebrated all over this country as a martyr because he was killed by Derek Chauvin, who was just sentenced to at least 30 years in prison. So is that not enough for you people? Are you not happy? That's what you wanted, right? Chauvin's in prison. But no, we've got to continue this narrative. So, of course, these people that vandalized the statue were white nationalists, and maybe they were. Honestly, I don't know enough about the group. I've just read this story last night. But what really caught my attention were the comments by the mayor in response. That's what's important to me because he's a total hypocrite. I almost did it.
Yeah, you almost did.
I held back,
You
Luke.
did. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Luke had to spend a lot of time censoring me on the last episode, so I promised I would try to be a good boy. We'll see how long it lasts. Okay, so
If people didn't suck so much, I get it.
I just get so frustrated.
I get it.
And the only way to express myself truly is with a fine F and a hard Last night, a far-right extremist group vandalized a statue of George Floyd in Brooklyn, a racist, loathsome, despicable act of hate. The City Cleanup Corps is repairing the statue right now, and a hate crime investigation is underway. We will... Oh, gross. Oh, we're going to have to censor that.
Yeah, you might have to.
We will bring these cowards to justice, baby. This is coming from the same man that during the violent protests of last summer was saying, hey, it's just property, baby.
Yeah.
It's just property.
Property damage is not a crime.
It's not a crime. It's
It's
just
not a crime.
people's, it's just their homes and their businesses and their well-being and how they support themselves and their families every single day. But, it's just property. But now it's not just property. Now this is a loathsome and vile criminal act. And de Blasio is going after these people as if anyone really cares what de Blasio has to say anymore.
I know. He's a joke.
Does anyone like that man? I was reading through the comments on his Twitter feed, and it doesn't seem as though the man has any support left in New York City. Very little, at least. And those who do still believe in him, I don't think they really know what's going on at all. He is the reason crime is up dramatically in New York City after he defunded the police, and he tried to blame COVID-19, saying that crime was just the rise in crime was a directly correlated to COVID-19 and had nothing to do with his policies that defunded the police. So yeah, there's that. All right, so God, I hate that man.
Yeah, he's horrible. I love how he just... I hate him.
All right, so moving on. So this also just came across my desk. I was actually just looking at this. This is very, very interesting to me. So here we go. Now, we all know about the Miami hotel that there was a fire in a Miami, was it apartment building? That caused, last I checked, 4 deaths and 150 people were missing. It's terrible. You pray for those people. It's awful. When I heard about it the other day, it just really hit me to think about what those poor people are going through. But yet again, people are going to take this tragedy and find a way to try to blame it on the conservative leadership of Ron DeSantis. So now they're coming out on Twitter and saying, who was this? This was Hannah Dreier. Hannah Dreier, which, who the hell is she? Washington Post national reporter. Shocker there. So Hannah Dreier comes out and says in this tweet that there's saying in emergency management, the first 24 hours is the only 24 hours. She also says FEMA is ready to deploy to the condo collapse almost immediately and included the crisis in its daily briefing, but didn't get permission from Governor Ron DeSantis to get on the ground for a full day. So this is what this woman's posting. She says, the federal agency that recommended sweeping building code changes after 9/11 now has 6 people on the ground investigating what happened in the condo collapse, according to the FEMA briefing. So now they're on the ground. But the issue she's saying is that Ron DeSantis held up FEMA and didn't allow them to step in for a full day, and that's his fault. Well, the responses on Twitter are quite incredible to this. All right, so why don't you go ahead and open up the other one now.
Okay. This one?
Yes. All right, so in response, we have Jeremy from Twitter saying, in response to our fine friend Hannah, time to kill another conspiracy theory from the left. They're quite good at it too. Russia, Russia, Russia. How this works. Emergency declaration from the local government, meaning the mayor, then the state government, being DeSantis, and then the federal government. So the mayor didn't actually sign an emergency order until 4:33 p.m. Eastern Time, and the governor signed one less than an hour later at 5:32 p.m. So Ron DeSantis is not holding up FEMA aid from Miami during this disaster. That's just simply not how the chain of that's not how it goes. You need to start with the local government and then the state government. So Ron DeSantis was waiting on the mayor. But I mean, it's just, it's just another way to try to smear a conservative in the media. Because that's the name of the game these days.
Can't ever be any good.
No, nothing a conservative does can ever be right, can ever be good, because we are evil, we are racist, we are bigots, we are what is wrong with America, we're trying to destroy democracy, because if you even thought about voting for Donald Trump in either election, then you're an evil person and you should be re-educated and wiped off the face of this planet if need be. Some people hate you so much for no reason, they don't even know why they hate you. It's just driven by this propaganda media machine that says you are wrong and we are right. Groupthink is what is important. If you do not follow along with the new social norms that we are setting, you do not have a place in our society, and you should be ousted or destroyed or brainwashed into believing what we believe. Because, I mean, that's what all this is. This leftist ideology that we're seeing pushed in the media and pushed in Hollywood and in our schools, on our children, it's a cult. It's cultist-like behavior. If you're not with us, you're against us. And some of these ideas are absolutely insane. So, you know what? That's going to take me into what I really want to talk about today, which are these parents in Loudoun County public schools and all over the country, which are fighting back against critical race theory, and not only critical race theory, but what comes along with it in this leftist curriculum, which they want to teach your children as young as 7 about sexual consent, which means which is effectively just teaching your children about sex at the age of 7. I mean, did you give the permission to the school as a parent for them to educate your children about sex before you even decide to have that talk with them? Why do we need to be educating children as young as 7 about sexual consent? What is going on? It makes me so mad to see what is happening to children in this country, the innocent in this country that cannot be protected every day, all day at school. That's what the teachers are there for. They're supposed to be protecting and educating our children while their parents are at work, working away so that they can support their children. But yet, these parents are leaving their children unknowingly up until recently. Now we're seeing the backlash, but leaving their children in the hands of these Marxist, socialist, communist, anti-police, degenerate scumbags who work for the teachers' unions, who during the pandemic didn't even want to go to work to teach your kids. They would say, no, remote learning is what we need. I feel like I'm in danger. I feel like I'm in danger. And then the one flies to Cancun for a vacation.
Yeah, hypocrisy at its finest right there.
School systems in America have been in peril for a long time, but right now there's a new threat coming at your children. It's not just shitty teachers that don't want to do their jobs and know that they'll have one anyway because of the teachers' unions. No. This is they are trying to indoctrinate your children. They're trying to teach your children that police are evil. They're trying to teach your children that if they're white, they're inherently evil, and that if they're black, they're inherently oppressed by this country and will never be able to get ahead as long as the white oppressor is in charge. Okay? That is what they're teaching your children. They're teaching your children division and racism and evil. They want your children to grow up and hate each other. They want a new race war in this country. They want division. That's why Columbia graduated students by race, which is insane. We talked about that before. I cannot believe that Columbia would graduate students by race in today's day and age, and to them that's anti-racism. That's not segregation. That's just acknowledging the cultural differences and allowing these students to flourish when they're within their own cultural groups, meaning they want people to group up by race and identify with each other only and not be able to identify with their neighbors of another color. They want you to hate each other, and that's what's happening.
They want to bring back segregation.
They do. They claim that what conservatives are doing with voting rights in Georgia, which actually expands voting and makes it easier to vote and helps. I'm not going to start talking about that today. We can get into that on the next episode if we want to talk about the Georgia voting laws and how not racist they are and how they expand voting and make it easier to vote. But what I really want to talk about there is how they tried to claim that was Jim Crow, right? They said this is Jim Crow, this is racism, it's going to make it harder for black people to vote, black people don't have the internet, black people don't have IDs, almost did it again. But this really is racist, what they're teaching our children. Mm-hmm. That's why what all the Democratic Party does in this country now is projection. They point the finger at the other party and say they're doing that, and that's what the also while that's what the Democrats are actually doing. So why don't we go ahead? Let's play some clips.
Okay.
First
one?
Yeah.
pretty much going to be teaching kids how to hate each other, how to dislike each other. That's pretty much what it's going to, that's pretty much, I don't care what you say, it's pretty much what it's going to all come down to. You're going to deliberately teach kids, this white kid right here got it better than you because he white? You're going to purposely tell a white kid, oh, the black people are all down and suppressed. How do I have 2 medical degrees if I'm sitting here oppressed? How did I get, first of all, time up, because I only got 5 minutes now, not 5 minutes. 2 medical degrees. No mom, no dad in the house. Worked my way through college. Sat there and hustled my butt off to get through college. You gonna tell me somebody that looked like all y'all white folks kept me from doing that? Are you serious? What's sickening about this whole thing is what y'all doing right now is already something I do in my community right now to speak out against stuff because black folks are getting told by other black folks, oh, you know you ain't gonna be able to do nothing out there in the world because them white folks ain't gonna let you get no, oh, you know you're not gonna be able to do it here because you know the white man gonna keep you down. Well, how did I get where I am right now if some white man kept me down? How am I now directing over folks that look just like you guys in this room right now? How? What kept me down? What oppressed me? I work for myself from off the streets to where I am right now. You gonna sit here and tell me this lie of critical race theory? Of this the reason why black folks can't get ahead because of white folks? Are you kidding me? This is what we come to now. I can't believe we even talking about this right now. The last thing I'm gonna say right here is something that's crazy. Martin Luther King said he wanted his kids to grow up in a world where they are judged by the contents of their what? Their character, not their skin. If they letting this stuff go on right now, it is absolutely doing the complete reverse of what he's doing. So when February comes, don't talk about Martin Luther King. When February comes, don't talk about Black History Month. If y'all gonna sit there and just pretty much pee on his grave with this nonsense, that's exactly what's about to happen.
So exactly. I mean, that's what we've been saying. This teaching of critical race theory goes exactly against the teachings of Dr. King and everything that black folks have strived for in this country. I mean, this is not a racist country. What percentage of white people out there do you think actually hate black people? Because they're out there. Of course they're out there. There are Chinese people that hate black people. A lot more of them. It's called country of China.
Yeah.
I mean, the CCP minimizes black characters on movie posters. But we want to claim that America is this racist country where, I mean, for the most part, we all get along just fine. But critical race theory is teaching to divide. And exactly, I had this argument with someone I know the other night that I was trying to tell him, and he's half black and probably didn't appreciate this coming from me, but I told him, you're not oppressed, my friend. In 2021, the only way that you are oppressed is through your own lenses, the way you see the world. If you allow yourself to feel oppressed, then sure you are, and you're oppressing yourself mentally. I mean, you're putting yourself down. You're not allowing yourself to succeed because anyone in this country that works hard can succeed. And that's what I love about America. And I know it always hasn't been a perfect nation. I mean, but I think for such a young country, we've come a very long way in such a short amount of time. And these people are trying to reverse it and destroy it.
Right.
These people that are trying to push this critical race theory trash in our schools and indoctrinate our children at a young age so that before they know any better, they're just brainwashed and they grow up with this warped sense of reality and grow up to hate each other. I mean, what's gonna be the outcome when you start telling these white kids all the time, every day in school at these young impressionable ages that they're evil and that they're oppressors and that even though they were just born and had nothing to do with the evil acts of hundreds of years ago, that they're just inherently racist. These white kids are going to start grouping up together, and when they're told over and over that these other groups, you know, that they're bad, but these other groups are good, what are they going to start thinking about these other groups of people?
Right.
They're going to start seeing them as the enemy.
Right. It's
because
like
that's what you're teaching them.
you're teaching them to become like white supremacists, basically.
Exactly. I mean, maybe that's the goal.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to create what they say is already the problem so that when it becomes a problem,
They're like, oh, I told you so. Told you so. You know? It's like, what? You created that, you monsters.
They're creating a monster right now that they're not. And thank God for all these parents fighting back. John Tiggs was arrested by the Loudoun County Sheriff's Department after he refused to leave what they deemed an unlawful assembly after one attendee became rowdy and was arrested. They had a list of people lined up to speak at this meeting, but unfortunately after one man became rowdy, it was deemed an unlawful assembly. They were told they were going to have to exit the premises, and when John Tiggs decided that he was going to refuse to leave and he wanted to have his voice heard, the officers arrested him as well. I don't see how that's a lawful arrest. I mean, basically what they did was they used this one unruly guy as an excuse to shut the whole thing down so that nobody was going to be allowed to speak against what's happening in Loudoun County Public Schools right now. So now the cops have stepped in and are being used as a tool of the local government there to shut down any discourse, any opinions that they don't want to hear. And they can just claim that these people are violent and unruly, which you'll see in the leftist media, even the Loudoun Times-Mirror, which I read an article from. If you read through the article, which I'm not going to do right now because you can read it yourself. We'll put the link in the description. It goes on. It makes it sound like these people were a violent, unruly mob that showed up to cause damage and get what they want through means of force, which is in no way the case. John Tiggs was arrested for simply refusing to leave the property after the police after the police demanded that everybody clear. He was arrested for trespassing on public property at a public meeting in which people just didn't want to hear what he had to say. So that's what's happening in America right now as people are fighting back. The police are stepping in and being used as some sort of Gestapo force to arrest people and shut them up. I mean, it's fear. Do you think more of these people are going to go to these meetings? You think people are going to keep coming to these meetings as people are getting arrested and one by one? Every time you go to one of these meetings, there's a chance you're going to go to jail for just speaking up. Yeah, it's going to deter people, unfortunately, but I hope it doesn't deter enough people, and I hope enough of these parents keep standing up in these school board meetings because it's ridiculous what they're teaching your children. You are not – listen. If you're a young person and you happen to see this, if you are white, are not an oppressor. You are not an inherently evil person, and I think you know this down to your core. So don't let these social pressures influence you and make you feel like you're a bad person when you're not, or that you even have to go along with this nonsense, because you do not. This is not going to last. This is not going to hold up. People are seeing this for what it is, and if you're an intelligent young person that does not agree with what what's being pushed at you in school, then you need to stand up and you need to say so. More students need to stand up in their classrooms, and you may get in trouble, I'm not advocating for anything violent, nothing like that. You should just stand up in your classroom and say verbally, I refuse to be taught this racist teaching. I refuse to hear this. And in protest. That's a peaceful protest. Right there. So.
Or it's, spit wads at the teacher's back of her head.
No, don't do that.
I mean.
No, because in today's day and age, they'll take you down for assault. Don't listen to him. Don't do that. Stand up. Say, I will not be taught this bullshit in my. Well, don't say that. That's what I'm saying, Lukey. They'll get these kids for anything now.
You can't spit wads at people anymore?
No, that's assault. Especially in COVID. With your spit on it.
Oh.
Come on, man.
Come on. Spit wads, bro.
Dude, the good times are over. The good old days are gone. We have to move forward accordingly.
This is bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
Should we watch him getting arrested?
Yeah, let's check it out.
All right.
John, walk with me, please. Walk with me, John.
Now,
Hey, John, please don't resist.
you guys,
Please don't resist.
this is an unlawful arrest. I have a First Amendment right.
Listen, you do, right? But
You're right. Okay, thank you. Here's someone speaking rationally.
Listen to me. At this point, the meeting is over, right?
It's not over.
Listen,
It's not over.
It
We
is-
were
all right,
meeting. We
but
were meeting.
If you look.
Yeah, so there he is getting arrested after the other gentleman was tackled, and they declared it an unlawful assembly. And yeah, you hear him there. It's an unlawful arrest. And I agree. That is an unlawful arrest.
Mm-hmm.
And he was simply shut down for saying things that people in power, even at the local level, don't want to hear. And you may think that This is just a few schools all over the place, but I mean, I'm not even sure of the statistics, but just like anything else, politics are downstream from culture, and we're going to see this start showing up everywhere in government soon, because this is, I don't even know what to say. I really don't even know what to say. Politics are downstream from culture. We're going to see these shifts in our schools all over the country if we don't stand up against this, because this is what is being talked about in social circles. This is the new norm. This is what is cool. Social justice and racists are everywhere, and get with it or go down. So that's where we're at in this country, and I'm pretty pissed off about it. I don't know about you. When you come after the kids, it's not right.
Yeah. You don't go after kids. Especially like the sex thing. That's like pedophile stuff, man. That's just,
which now they're trying to add that to what the LGBTQ2 thing. They want to add these people that what are the ages? What are they called?
Pedophiles?
I mean, they're pedophiles.
They
they're
want to
pedophiles.
be added to that? Why?
Because they're trying to say that there's a group. It's like how gender is fluid, age is fluid, and that some people are just attracted to minors, but
Gross.
that should be acceptable. That's what they're trying to do now.
It's gross.
Oh.
That's so gross. There's a good one. All right, you get one good one.
Oh boy, the ship is sinking. Get on the lifeboats or grab a bucket. I don't know. I'm grabbing a bucket. I'm not ready to give up, but yeah. I don't really know what else to say today.
I don't know.
Pretty pissed off about everything. So today might just be a little short. But don't worry. You can look for us next week. We're going to be coming at you from the great state of Florida.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we're going to come at you
Free land.
from the greatest state in the union. We're going to be recording from there next week, and I'll have a little more to say next week. Today I'm just a little pissed off with everything going on. And,
Yeah.
You know.
And there was plenty that happened this week, you know. It's just when you start messing with the kids, man,
That's all I could think about all week was these parents and what they're doing and how great they really are, because it's not going to go easy for them, these people.
No.
People will fight back against them. They will try to make their lives harder. It's not going to be a walk in the park for these people, but they're standing up for the children, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Rock and roll, man.
I'm going to get out of here just because. Damn it. There's two. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
There was only a very few riders there that made it through at the front of that bunch without getting caught up in the crash. It happened on the right-hand side of the road. Yes, it looked like Tony Martin caught a sign held by a spectator, and the crash went all the way across the road.
Everyone pretty much in the ditch is Wout van Aert. Julian Alaphilippe didn't hit the deck. He's about one of the only riders. So, yeah.
What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say.